Well, hi everyone, it's Dr. Coulter-Harris here. And this video that I'm going to do is going to take you through the first major writing assignment, which is going to be a narrative. And I'll be explaining exactly what a personal narrative is, and I'm going to take you through all the directions that I've posted on your Blackboard site. So let's read this together. So go ahead and open up your Blackboard site, weeks 1 and 2, and please go to where it says Major Writing Assignment 1, Narrative, A Teachable Moment, My American Dream. So this is going to be just 3 pages, double-spaced, and please write a catchy title, something that would be very exciting, something that a reader would say, oh boy, that title sounds really great. I want to read that. So the due date is not until the 6th of September, so you've got plenty of time to write about this. So the first thing, this is going to be in stages. The first thing I want you to do is read the essay-based assignment, although you're not going to be responding to this particular assignment, falling short on page 146. So go ahead and turn to page 146 in your book, and let's read this. It says, review Amy Tan's fish cheeks at the beginning of this chapter. The essay narrates an incident in which Tan was embarrassed because she and her family did not meet the, quote, American, unquote, standard she thought the minister's son and his family expected. Write a narrative describing a single incident in which you tried to be someone you were not, or felt inadequate because of your family, your food, your appearance, or some other aspect of your life. The incident may or may not have been embarrassing at the time, but be sure that you keep the narrative within a short period of time, no more than a few hours. Also, be sure that your conclusion reveals the lens through which you now view that incident as Tan's essay indicates. Well, actually, your narrative does not have to be confined to a specific time period. But why are we going through this if I'm not going to have you respond directly to this prompt? Is because you're going to be writing a larger piece about your experience in America, growing up in America or immigrating to America, and I'll go through more details in just a minute. But I wanted that to give you an idea what Tan is going to write about in her essay. And then after you read that, then I want you to go ahead and read Amy Tan's essay, Fish Cheeks. It's only 2 pages on 119, 120. And that will give you an idea of how to write a very well-written narrative. I want you to recognize that Tan's essay is also teaching the reader a lesson. It's not just about writing about our experiences. It's also about connecting us to the greater human experience, okay? And teaching people a lesson that they can relate to. And this lesson should usually come at the end of your narrative essay. So let's go ahead also and read. I've given you also another source about how to write a narrative. And these directions, and you will see on your Blackboard page, it was written by Corey Morgan. And they're called What Are the Elements for a Personal Narrative? And this was published by Demand Media in July 2015. So let's go ahead and read this together, shall we? Directions, some tips about writing a personal narrative. A personal narrative is often one of the first writing assignments a composition instructor will give students. And that's quite true. Because we want you to be able to write about yourselves and feel comfortable writing something. Typically, it is an essay that describes a significant moment in the student author's life and demonstrates how that experience changed him or her as a result, ultimately teaching the reader a lesson. Understanding the elements of a personal narrative can teach you to fuse the power of storytelling with the logic and structure of a traditional academic essay. So the opening, always most important because you want to grab the reader's attention. While traditional academic essays make their points through a specific thesis and research, personal narratives make theirs by telling a story, using the elements of plot, character, and vivid description. Like any essay, the introduction should grab the reader's attention right into the story by creating a dramatized scene with dialogue or a vivid description of something that will become important later on. The body paragraphs of a traditional essay advance the author's position by illustrating each point with well-researched evidence. In a personal narrative, however, this evidence is the story itself. It's your story. The challenge, however, is to create a plot that selects the most important details of the event. What I want you to do is make me live your experience through your words. So it must be full of description. Let me see the place you're bringing me to. Let me hear the people. Let me see the people you're describing. Okay? So instead of, as she says, instead of relating the story in chronological order, you can use dialogue, character scenes, and other narrative devices to advance the story and keep readers engaged. So reflection. A personal narrative's conclusion always leaves the readers knowing how the events changed the author and what you learned from your experience, including the consequences of this lesson. The ending does not always have to be positive or uplifting, and you do not always have to shy away from the truth of what you experienced. Be honest, people. Okay? Let this narrative come from the heart and the soul. So be honest about your experience. Your experience may be tragic. Okay? Maybe you failed at something, and that taught you a lesson. So honesty, vulnerability, and even confrontation of difficult lessons will make your essay, your narrative essay, even more poignant. So using descriptive language. Good personal narratives and language carefully. Use that carefully. Make it descriptive. Instead of telling the readers that you felt sad, for example, you can use words with a somber tone or sound to naturally create that feeling in your audience. At the same time, omit needless words that have long, drawn-out sentences instead of making them fluent. So tell your story in your own voice rather than dressing it up with flowery language that will ultimately distract the reader. And elements to consider, you can read that on your own. Now, let us go to the main event, which is going to be this. So open this. Your personal narrative, the American Dream. James Olney states that memory and narrative, together and alike, are the two major epiphenomena of consciousness, the dual defining conditions of our being human and not something else. You're saying to yourself, well, what does Olney mean? What he means is this, is that human beings are the only creatures on earth who have the ability to remember, to have memory of something, and the ability to speak about their memories, to tell stories. You know, I'm a great storyteller, and I'll probably make some videos telling you some stories about my own life later on. So, please open this file and let's read this together. What is a narrative essay? The aim of a narrative essay is to describe a course of events from your personal point of view. You will tell the reader a story about your experiences and your self-reflection on those experiences. The focus of this essay is to clearly identify the point of view of you, the narrator, and to express common features of subjectivity. So you will need to tell a story about something that happened to you in such a way that the audience, again, learns a lesson or gains insight. So you must connect your story to the larger human experience. Directions. You will create your own personal narrative about growing up in America or immigrating to America and adjusting to a new culture. You will write about and select images that recall special moments in your life that were uniquely American. These moments do not have to be happy moments. Well, they don't necessarily have to be sad either, okay? So you have to ask yourself, why was this American experience important to you? Did it make you grow in some way, intellectually or spiritually? Has this experience been pleasant or unpleasant? Has it changed you for better or for worse? What has been the impact of your American experience on your view of life? Okay? On your view of American social systems in your community. So try to create a lesson from your experience that is relatable to all of us. Try to write about and connect photos or images from Google that recall events or moments in your life that relate to your story. But don't use more than 2 images, please. For this first writing project, I expect you to use, I've set a maximum of 3 images, so you can go ahead and do 3, but I would prefer it if it was only 2. But your narrative text, the actual writing, will constitute 8 possible points, and your selection of images will constitute 2 possible points. Now the minimum number of pages will be 3 pages, and everything's got to be double spaced, and please use 12-point font, either Arial or Times New Roman. So the minimum pages are 3. However, I always have students who love to write. Okay? So, but don't write more than 5 pages, please. Okay? Because sometimes, there'll be a lot of filler words and sections that really don't need to be in there. One of the most important things about writing a narrative is once you write the story, go back and read it aloud to yourself and say, what words, what phrases, perhaps what paragraphs really need to be eliminated. Don't be afraid of editing out. I always say to my writing students, don't think every word you write is precious. Learn to edit yourself. So after you have finished this, you're going to upload a copy of this paper to the Dropbox files, labeled, and it's very clear, Paper 1, Personal Narrative. Okay? So if you have any questions about this, please email me or write to me. Just remember that on that first section on page 146, the essay-based assignment, you're not writing that essay-based assignment. You are writing from this, the American experience. But I did want you to read that on page 146 because perhaps you have had a moment in your life that was embarrassing where you didn't feel adequate. And that could be a very, very good story. Okay? So, I'm happy you're here, and I want you to be happy writing. Listen, writing can be so much fun. And that's the thing. Have fun with this. And dig deep. Dig deep. And I will see you later. Bye.